right. Hello, everyone. It's Rachel, and I'm on my personal page right now, on my homepage, because I wanted to share Marion's story with as many people as possible because it's so amazing and so fun. So if you're listening in, we're super excited you're here. It's me and Marion, and we are live, and we are talking about the pretty incredible things that have happened over the last 6 months. So first off, Marion, I'm going to have you introduce yourself to everyone. Marion is my neighbor, and I know, right? That doesn't often happen, but she is my neighbor, but she's also a really amazing, incredible client of mine. And Marion is actually she's like a serial entrepreneur, kind of like myself. She actually has 2 businesses. She's an esthetician and she does amazing work. Yes, I've had some work done by her. And she is also an art coach, which is actually why she hired me. So Marion, I think probably because this is obviously virtual, and if they don't live in East Cobb, if you live in East Cobb or in the Atlanta area and you want Marion's information, reach out to me. I 100% will get it to you. But Marion, tell them a little bit about your coaching business, how you got started with it, and really what is art coaching?
Okay, first and foremost, Rachel is great. She is my neighbor, and I even bought Rachel's house.
That's true. I forgot about that. She bought my old house too.
So we live right across the street from each other, and it worked out perfectly. We were at a block party last summer, and we started talking, and I decided that Rachel was the real deal, and I needed a Rachel to help me. Because I am old schooled and I'm from another generation. And before I met Rachel, I didn't even know what a hashtag was. I had no idea about social media. It was gut-wrenching for me. It was so hard for me to absorb all of the social media that I had to learn to get to my coaching business. And I have to tell you that Rachel was so patient with me, because there were times I had to run across the street in my pajamas, in my coat, with my computer, because I didn't know what I was doing. So Rachel was very calming, and I thanked her a million times to help me get through my blocks and my crunches. I'm a life coach also, and I teach how to balance your emotions through process painting. Now, process painting is not what you think, it's what you feel. And it even makes it more difficult because you got to dig deep down inside your soul to get it out onto the canvas and paint whatever you're feeling, whether it's sorrow or anger or frustration or even joy, just to get it out on the computer and just let it rip. I was a preschool teacher for 12 years. And when you give a 3-year-old a paintbrush, they don't go, oh, I don't know what to do. They just go at it. So when you're with me and I'm coaching you and we're getting through the emotions, you have to be 3 years old and we have to paint, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. There's no such thing as talent. That's a myth. And I just want you to go at the paints and just discover who you are. And Rachel really helped me because she understood where I was coming from. I was very, very nervous. I didn't know what end was up. I never knew where to begin. When I came with Rachel, she would let me, I call it vomiting. I had to vomit for the first 5 minutes to let her get out all my frustrations. She gave me that space. And then I was able to, okay, let's get down to work, and took tons of notes. Came home and did all my homework. She taught me how to post. I didn't even know how to post on Facebook. So now I feel, after 6 months with Rachel, I feel a lot better. And I feel like I know what people are talking about now, about social media. I could understand what I have to do, how to get the stories across, how to get the value across, and how to just to put it all in order so I could have a focus, because I was really, really scattered and I didn't know where to begin. But Rachel always got me back to where I have to be, because sometimes I can still walk into Rachel's house and I'll say, I don't know where I am, I don't know what I'm doing, and she'll say, okay, calm down, let's just get this. And then by the end of the session, I'm happy, I got my notes, I know what I have to do for the week. And she was very, very patient. We're very creative together. We could jam, and she taught me how to write the stories. And and I had my first art class, really. It filled up, and we had a blast in there. There were a few tears during the painting sessions, but that's good. We all got it out. And there was a loving space to create and to express. So we had a wonderful, wonderful time. And that's just one of the hats I wear. And then she was also helping me. I'm a clinical esthetician for 25 years. And so I moved my business home, which was very stressful through COVID and everything. But now I'm up and running, and they're coming from St. Simon's to see me. They're coming from Canton. They're coming from all over for face care. And so that's working out beautifully. So thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
So Marion, when we started, you were definitely, as you said, like all over the place. And would you say, if like you had to pinpoint one of the, like if there was one thing, like out of the 6 months together that you could be like, yes, that was it. That is what like has taken my coaching to the next level and really got me more grounded into the place where like, she's undermining too. Her class had 9 people, 10 people. Like it was sold out, people, first class. This is fucking, pardon my French if you have kids watching, incredible results. So Marion, is there like, what would you say like one of the biggest takeaways, and actually Marion and I are still working together, but in those 6 months that we started, what would you say one of the biggest takeaways was?
The biggest takeaway for me, because I'm a Gemini and I'm a triple quadruple Gemini, and my mind, it's never quiet. I think Rachel got me organized. I was able to understand what days I do work on this business and what day I work on my other business, and how do I go about it. So it was getting me organized and keeping me accountable for what I had to do. And then I ended up, to tell you the truth, I love writing my stories. They are hysterical because I just tell my life stories to everybody, and I'm having a ball. And then actually people came over to me and they've been saying to me, Marion, who's doing your posting for you? Who's writing those stories? I said, I am. I'm writing the stories. They go, they're unbelievable. And I said, thank you. So I really give that thanks to Rachel, because she taught me how to start the story, what I put in the middle of the story, and how I end the story. So I'm very proud of myself. I really am, for doing that.
Hello, literally, let's just be real, Marion. When you first came to like, we didn't know what a Google Doc was. So we have come a really, really long way. And, you know, not to undermine all the other work too, right? Of like, you nailed it by getting focused and getting organized. But a lot of that was like the deep work, right? That you have continued to do. I mean, not work you didn't know, but just like sometimes as coaches, we forget that even though we might know how to do the things that we help our clients with, we sometimes forget to do them for ourselves. And having that support reminds us about how valuable that really is. And you are such a prime example of what's possible when you do all of it, right? When you do the mindset work and you do the strategy and you put it together and you have take like serious, massive action. Marion definitely takes massive action. Definitely.
I'm like, you tell me what to do and I'll do it, but I just don't know what to do.
Right. And so often, right? We don't know what we don't know yet.
So I did everything she told me. I had my notes. It was look, I have to say, it was mind-boggling. It was stressful. I felt like I was on the edge of tears some days. There were days I just couldn't navigate. But I learned how to take a risk, and because Rachel would say to me, just try it on the computer and see where you get. And I would say, okay, and then I would try it myself, and and then I would text her back and say, I got it, Rachel. I don't need you now. I did it myself, So the crutch, it was a big crutch for me, but I had to start, I had to start, letting go of that crutch, and I had to start depending on myself. And I still depend on Rachel. Believe me, there's a lot of things I still don't know how to do, but she's always there to help me, always. So Rachel, I'm really grateful for you, and you're the real deal. And that's exactly what my husband said. He said, Rachel's the real deal. You're in good hands. So I said, okay, here I go. And it was it was money for me. And yes, it was. And that had my gut going in circles at times. But I just did it. I didn't look back. I felt like I was a Hopi Indian jumping into that river, swimming and not looking back. And I just went for it.
Ugh. And I'm honored to be in your corner with you. And it's been such a fun ride. So if someone right now, like, I think I'm pretty sure I'm like getting ready to launch, or I'm started to launch for the April group, for the Live Your Dharma program. If someone right now is like, ooh, it's a really big investment, like, you felt it, right? And they're on the fence, what would you want them to know?
I would want to tell them to trust in the universe. That's number one, because that was my lesson, to trust, because you don't see it right away. You don't see what you want right away. It's all future, or maybe you just have to catch up to it. It's happening, but you just got to catch up to it. So I would just tell everybody to trust in the universe, to go for it. Don't be afraid, and just do your soul's work and do your best work. And so it's money. Okay. Money's energy. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. Right. And so just give yourself that chance, and give yourself permission to do it, and say it's okay, and Spirit's got your back.
I love that. And I 100% agree. I always say indecision is the river of misery. So just make a decision, yes or no. But if you're like in that like middle area, I love that you just said that, because I'm always like, okay, I'm just going to ask the universe, I'm going to ask God, what is it? And I'm going to believe in that support and that guidance. And really do believe that. And I 100% agree.
I have a big sign on my bathroom mirror that says trust in the universe. So I look at it every day. And also affirmations are helpful, that if you need an affirmation that you are worth it, you are worthy, and everything's going to be okay, and you could do this, and just go for it. Life is short. So you might as well just get it done and do what you have to do.
Oh, I love it, Marion. So Marion, if someone right now is like, they're maybe not a coach, but they're listening, because I did this on my personal profile, and maybe they're struggling a little bit, in an area of their life, how do you think in terms of like process painting, right? Using painting as your tool, right, for coaching? Because really, I like to see Marion's a general life coach with a very spiritual vibe, right? And, really, she, we talked about like niching down, but really she can help anyone who's really just feeling kind of stuck right now in their life. What would you say? How would you explain to them how it's maybe different than working with just like a general life coach who obviously doesn't use process painting?
Well, process painting really comes from your subconscious. It's buried so deep down inside, you don't even know that the subconscious is really ruling. It works at you every single day. That's where all your decisions come from, is really from the subconscious mind. So once you start painting and you get out of your mind and you get into your body, then that's where all the magic happens. And it's like an extension of yourself when you use a paintbrush, and there's no thinking. You're just going to be thinking in that moment. What's your next stroke? What's your next action step? What's your next color you're going to use? But there's no thinking. And then by the end of the session, when you finish that painting tells your story. It's a reflection of you, the colors that you pick. Let's say you're really you're depressed, and you're not feeling great, you could paint with black and browns, and you can make a mush, whatever you want to do, but you are getting it out. And once it's released from the body, it's not in there anymore. It's out on the canvas, and you could just look at it, or a piece of paper. It's like your journal. It's like when you journal and you just like, you tell everything in your journal. It's the same thing. You could just paint and mush and throw paint and get it out. I was up to 1 o'clock in the morning last night doing that very same thing. We got to see what I just painted. It's crazy, but I don't care, because the energy was so intense with me. I had to get my energy out, because I'm the type of a person that I cannot, I don't sit and read. I'm too antsy for that stuff. I got to be doing something. Yeah. So that's what I do. And I just get it out on the canvas. And I've painted blood and worms and guts and monsters and devils and snakes, if I'm feeling that way. And then once I paint it, man, I'm done. I'm out. I'm good to go. That's where all the gold is. It's in that story that's on the canvas.
And I just love it, because I mean, when Marion first started telling me about this, I just thought it was so brilliant, because like some people are writers, some people are talkers, but some people, like, here's another avenue that's giving people who maybe aren't the writers or aren't the talkers to get it out, so they can literally, like you said, process it, talk about it, see it, have the awareness, so they can start to move forward and past it. I love it. I think it's so cool. And I've had the fortunate of being able to see all of Marion's artwork, to be in her house. Oh, well, it was my old house, but to be in it since now it's her house, to see her work, to experience this. And it's very cool. It's very moving. It's very powerful. So I also want to do a shout out to Marion right now, that if right now you're like, I've tried the talk stuff, maybe you've tried the journaling and it's not quite hit home for you yet, really, really want to suggest that you reach out to Marion. I'll have Marion in a minute share her information, but if you can't find her, you can always come through me and I will send her information your way, because there's not a one-way highway to healing, to getting to the place where you're really living an intentional life. And it can look very different for lots of different people. It's, really how I ended up in yoga, as therapist, then yoga, then coach. And it's not a straight path necessarily. And that's why the beauty of this world, and there's so many different people out there and so many different tools. Like, try it, right? Like, give it an attempt, because you never know which path is going to be the right path for you. So, Marion, with that being said, if someone's like, yes, oh my God, I want to try this. And FYI, Marion doesn't just work with adults. She works with teenagers too. So works really beautifully with teens, because, a lot of teens don't, let's be honest, they don't want to talk to people. They are going to talk, but this gives them that like segue to be able to talk. So Marion, where did the people find you?
Well, they could find me. I have a website. It's called painttalks.com. 2 T's and an S, Paint Talks. And they could call me and we could do Zoom sessions. I do Zoom sessions, and it take about an hour and 15 minutes to just set up a place where you could paint. And I guide you through the whole process. It's not scary. It's supposed to be fun. We're going to have courage, and we're going to just really let it rip and let your feelings out, and let's just get them expressed, because you need a voice. So I call it Paint Talks, because I want the paint to talk for you if you can't express it on your own. The painting will express it. You can't hide from it, because it came out of you, and that's going to be your story.
Oh, so good. So good. Okay. Well, I will make sure to put Marion's in the comments, her website. Also, if you are thinking about joining the Live Your Dharma Coaching Certification program, I'm taking applications now. I do keep it small, so make sure to get in your application early so you don't get closed out and you don't have to wait 3 more months. So anyways,
and Rachel, one more thing,
yes.
they could email me too at marionpainttalks@gmail.com.
Awesome. I will put that in the comments too.
Okay.
And I will tag you, so they'll have you on Facebook. If they're on Facebook right now, they're on Facebook. So I'll make sure they have all that information to get in touch with you, Marion, because Marion is truly a gift, and she has so much to offer. this world. And yeah. All right, guys. Marion, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you so much, Rachel. Thank you,
out of your
sweetheart.
evening. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Have a wonderful, fabulous evening, everyone.
Thank you.